Facebook is streaming, YouTube is streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcomed from wherever you are connecting. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, how to overcome the impatience that comes to succeed in any method or techniques. There are so many techniques and methods, so a problem comes in which one to choose, and impatience is there to succeed in the technique that is being used. How to overcome this? There are two things to be remembered. One is spirituality cannot be an outcome of desire, because desire is the root cause of all anxiety and anguish, and you cannot direct your desires to the spiritual realm. Spirituality is not a desire, but it happens. It is natural, because we know only one movement, and that is the movement of desire. And when the desire is unfulfilled or it is taking long, then impatience comes in. We desire the things of the world. Someone desires to be rich, someone desires fame, someone desires prestige and power, or something else. We desire things of the world, and through these desiring, we remain frustrated. So same psychology applies when it comes to spiritual life. We desire it. We do not take it natural and spontaneous. And then we are bound to be frustrated. It is irrelevant whether desire is fulfilled or not. If it is not fulfilled, obviously you will be frustrated. The focus should not be on its fulfillment or anything. If it is fulfilled, good. If it is not, it brings frustration and brings impatience in you. If it is fulfilled, then too we will be frustrated, because whenever a desire is fulfilled, another desire comes in. There is but the hope, the promise that guides each desire is never fulfilled. मिर्ज़ा गालिब says, हज़ारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. It is like a chain reaction. Chain have loops, one connected to the other. So all the desires are connected in a chain link. You fulfill one, another arises. You can get as much wealth as you desire, but the wealth was not desired really. Something else was desired through it. Your lust for money, habis, and that is never fulfilled. Unsatiable quest. The more you have, the more you desire. Today you have a vehicle, tomorrow you want to have another one. This process continues. You can achieve wealth, but the hope that was lingering around, the dream of happiness, of bliss, of some ecstatic life, that is never fulfilled. If wealth is not achieved, you feel frustrated. You feel that you have, if you can get the wealth, you will feel happy. But when you get wealth, you are busy. If wealth is achieved, then too you are frustrated, because the promise is not fulfilled. The dream is not fulfilled. Everything is there. The means are there and the ends have escaped. End is always elusive. The end never comes in. You are acquiring wealth. Is there any end to it? How much or where you have to stop? What is the upper limit? So end is always elusive. You are stumbling in dark. Through desire, it is like stumbling in dark and never comes when your desire is coming to an end. Through desire, one comes to deep frustration. When this frustration happens, you start looking for something absolutely other than this world. Religious yearning is born, a religious longing, but again that begins with desiring. You are frustrated in this, so you move into the other. You start desiring, but the process of desiring continues. And in that process, you become impatient. You want to achieve this and that. The mind has not changed. The attitude is not changed. The object of desire is different. It was wealth, now it is meditation. So for you, meditation has become an object that has replaced wealth. It was power and prestige. Now it is silence and peace. You are desiring silence and peace. Before it was something, now it is something else. But the mind, the mechanism, the very working of your being remains the same. You were desiring A, now you are desiring B, but desiring remains there, connecting, shifting you from A to B, or from wealth to meditation. This has to continue. But there has been examples where one attained, Kalidas attained, desiring stopped. And when desiring stops, your search begins. You start discovering, knowing which that everything becomes known. And desiring is the problem. So you are not looking at the actual problem, you are looking at impatience if you are not able to. And impatience comes in because you do not know which is the upper limit, how much wealth you have to attain. You are always desiring that I have been meditating every day 1 hour, but the result has not come in. Your desiring, the mind has not dropped. And meditation begins only when the moment mind is dropped, then you don't have to do anything. You are not aspiring for anything. It just happens in that moment. And desiring is the problem, not what you desire, is the object. Whatever you desire, meditation or wealth is not important. You can have the money, and then if there is a limit that I have to work X amount, and that's it. What you desire is not the problem, that what you desire is not the problem. That you desire is the problem. You may desire wealth, is not a problem. But you desire wealth. Why do you desire? In order to live in the world, you have to do something. So you are doing it as a part of your work to live in the world. You have to go to work, you have to earn the livelihood. So it is not desiring, it is the way of life. Desire is the problem. Now you are again desiring, earlier you are desiring wealth, now you are desiring meditation. You, you are bound to be frustrated. If you achieve, then you are frustrated. If you don't achieve, you will remain frustrated. The same will happen because you have not been able to see the point. You have missed the point that desiring is to be dropped. The mind is to be dropped because mind is that faculty, that pot where the desiring happens. One of the Zen masters says, when you are finished with the last meal, wash your pot. When you are finished with the last meal, wash your pot. This is the teaching. Why the pot, why the meals is brought into the account? I am asking for spirituality, tell me the mantras, tell me the sutras, all these things. But the practical is the last meal, whole day you are eating. This you have eaten, having eaten that, I am not full yet. I just feel to eat something else. So you eat something else. Because the intrinsic value of the food is not there. Food is not just a gross value. Whatsoever you do, it has two aspects. Whether it is food that you cook, it has a gross value and it is an intrinsic value. That intrinsic value is that food that you eat gives you a satiation, a fulfillment. If the food is not cooked meditatively, or the proper ingredients are not put in the right proportion, how much the salt, how much the spice, how much the pepper, how much the ingredients are to be used, what kind of texture is needed. If all these things are not focused or taken into account, the food will not have the intrinsic value. So unless whatsoever you are doing, your focus is on the cross, not on the intrinsic value. When you are working desiring wealth, what is the intrinsic value? Why do you want to earn wealth? Yesterday a thought came to me. One of my persons from Argentina expressed her problems that she had been facing. Couple months ago she told me that the things are very difficult in Argentina capital, and so as a result she is not able to manage financially, so she wants to move to another place, and she moved to Buenos Aires. There again things are difficult financially. So a thought came to my mind, I wish I could help her in some way or the other. A thought came, this is not a desire. If it is God's will, it will happen. So for that, I have to work my resources. For what reason? I get my food in the morning, breakfast, lunch and dinner. Why should I spend my money on getting a BMW or any other car? I have my old car that gives me the comfort, easy ride, without any problem. So you have to put an end. You cannot, just as I said, when you desire, what you desire is not the problem. The problem is desiring. I am not desiring this. If it is to happen, I just put my application into it. I wish I was in a position to give her some assistance. Now you are again desiring. So if it is a desire, when you are cooking food and it is cooked properly, it has the gross value, the gross things, ingredients, because without the ingredients, you will not be able to create the dish. And if your focus is only on the gross elements and you think with that it can be made, no. You must put the intrinsic value, and the intrinsic value comes with the proper balance of the various ingredients, plus there is an invisible element. That invisible element is you. Have you put yourself into it? Or you are just cooking meditatively or cooking mechanically? When food is cooked, that is why when the food is cooked for prayer, that tastes better than anything else. Why? Because there is a subtle element has been added to it. So you can cook your food every day meditatively, cooking for Buddhas, cooking meditatively, cooking lovingly. And how do you cook your food? You cook your food out of compulsion, out of necessity, not out of love. You have finished your dinner, and if someone comes in, so, oh God, this person come in and then they say, I have finished the dinner. No, that time should be, God has given you an opportunity to serve someone. Okay, no problem, give me a few minutes and I'll have something ready for you. The food should be cooked lovingly, meditatively and joyfully. Then you are putting your element into it, the subtle element. And that is the only element which will satiate you. You are not eating empty calories. If certain foods are, food has a calorie, but the way it is cooked, its gross value changes into the subtle values, and a taste comes, a satiation comes, a fulfillment comes. So whatsoever you are doing, if you are earning wealth, your work is that you are working, you have to work for a certain amount of money, how much your effort you are putting into it, and that will give you a satiation. Now, but if you go on desiring, that desiring is the problem, not that what you desire. What you desire is not the problem, your desiring is the problem. You are again desiring and you will be frustrated. If you achieve it, you will be frustrated, and if you do not, you will be frustrated. The same will happen to you, because you have not been able to see the point that desiring is the problem. You need not, you have to come, and desiring is an aspect of the mind. You have to come out of the mind into a space, of empty space, that is your inner space. You cannot desire meditation, because meditation happens only when there is no desire. All the desiring, the mind has disappeared. The mind has disappeared. You cannot desire liberation, you cannot desire nirvana, you cannot desire enlightenment. It happens only in a state of desirelessness. Desirelessness is that space that lies beyond your mind. Shankar says, Mano Buddhi Ahankar Chittani Naham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. He goes on denying Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, Chit. Mind, intellect, storehouse of the memory, and ego sense. These are the four corners of the mind. Mind is not something tangible like a room that is bound by certain things, but these four, man, intellect, ego sense, storehouse of the memory, they create the four corners of the mind, and there is an invisible boundaries. There is no boundary, but yet still you have created an invisible boundary around you. It is said that once Mullah Nasruddin said that when I die, I do not want to create a mausoleum with walls and everything. No walls. But I would like to have a door, and on the door you put a lock and put the key in the grave with me. So what we have invisible walls created by these focal points. When you are going into surveying, it is said that you have to create the points that are imaginary based on the survey of the land. So when you survey the mind, there are 4 focal points: mind, intellect, ego sense, and storehouse of the memory. And we are guided by storehouse of the memory. You have tasted something, and that taste lingers in your mind. And when you taste something else, you start comparing. Can that comparison will help you to satiate at that moment? You are sitting in a restaurant, and a platter is there in front of you. And what are you talking there sitting down in the restaurant? When we went to the restaurant last time, the food there was better. The food that is there in front of you, the food that you can order from the menu card, is the only thing that will satiate you. We are never available to the moment. And you look at it. How do you eat your food? This was my first radio program in 1989. How do you eat your food? You have a platter full of food in front of you. You have a morsel in your mouth, and next one in the hand ready to go. And where are your eyes? Eyes are fixed on the platter, what is next. And that is how we consume our food. You have a morsel in your mouth. When it chews, it goes through the process of chewing, and it dissolves in the saliva, and it passes through the esophagus to reach the stomach. There is a satiation. But you are holding the next one in your hand. As soon as it is finished, you put it in your mouth. I recall when we were small, at the shrine of Sufi Brijmohan Lal, there used to be the spiritual function. That was in the month of October. So winter has started setting in. So there was a big compound. So tents were made. The people will come and stay for 3 days. So when it is the lunch time, the food, everybody is sitting in the queue on the ground. The dishes where the food is to be served, the leaf plate known as pattal, then other things were placed in front of you. Someone comes and shares the leaves. Next one comes the leafy bowl made out of leaf, then a water container, then the food will start distributing. The dal comes in, the vegetable comes in, rice comes in, roti comes in, and the condiments, if it is any, water. When all these things are served and everybody is served everything, ingredients, then, so it happens, some people get first. When it is completed, then the person will come to say the prayer to begin the food. But there was an elderly person, so he cannot begin to eat until the person has completed the prayer. So he has broken a piece of roti in his hand, dip it in the vegetable or dal whichever, and holding in his hand like that, sitting down, waiting for the prayer to finish. As soon as the prayer, the last word goes Om Shanti, 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 he will start eating. So he don't have a time gap between the prayer to finish and start eating. Now, because he started his process of eating before, so he is finished before everyone. So as soon as he finished eating, now again the process was when the whole queue is finished with eating, every single person, then they will be allowed to get up and move. So he is now sitting on his haunches, holding his leaf folded, ready to get up. So that is the way you enjoy the food. You have a platter in front of you, you have something in front of you, but your focus is also always on something else. You look at it, this is the normal way of our life. We are never satiated with what we have in our hands, and we do not know the art of feeling satiated. You cannot desire meditation because it happens in a state of desirelessness. When there is no desire, the satiation naturally happens. You cannot desire liberation, nirvana, enlightenment, or anything. It is an outcome of a desireless state. It cannot be made any object of desire. So to me, those who know desiring is the world and not to desire is a phenomena of the beyond. Desiring is the world, not that you desire worldly things. Desiring is the main thing, whether you are desiring meditation or a car or a house or anything. Object is not important. And when you desire, impatience is bound to be there because the mind does not want to wait. The mind does not want to postpone. It is very impatient. That's what it is. You have a morsel in your mouth. Mind is impatient. It is not waiting for it to be finished swallowing, finished chewing in the mouth, and then enter into the through the esophagus into the stomach before you take another morsel in your mouth. There is so much of impatience that you do not want to finish the food. And how do you eat? You are galloping. You are just simply stuffing as if you are throwing everything in a garbage bin. Isn't it that you are? And those people who are very angry, observe them eating. They are just swallowing the food. The amount of time I will take to finish one, we can say anything, a flat bread or a puri, baked one or anything, during that period, people eat multiple, they finish it. And I am just standing here with one because it is taking a long time for me to finish. So there is so much impatience that you do not wait the morsel to finish in your mouth before you take up the next morsel in the spoon to eat. So how do you achieve meditation? Desire will create movement of the mind, and then desiring will create impatience, and impatience will bring you to more disturbance. It is a chain reaction, a continuous process. So it happens, and I observe it daily. as a person who was living a very worldly life was not ordinarily so disturbed. When he starts to meditate or to seek the religious dimension, he becomes more and more disturbed, more than ever. The reason is that now he has even a keener desire, a deeper desire, and with that more impatience comes in. And with the worldly desires, things were so real and objective because you desire a smartphone, it is real. But when you desire peace, it is not tangible. Taste is not tangible. But the food, that is there, the gross item that is in front of you. In the world, everything is gross. But you can convert that gross element, seek in that gross element the subtle element as well. The satiation, the taste in the food. That is a different kind of a quality that comes not with your ingredients, but ingredients when they are mixed with a proper understanding, and not only understanding, with a balance between heat and patience, then a subtle element is added into it, and that gives you satiation. And with the worldly things, things were so real and objective that you could wait for them. They were always within his reach. The food that is there in the pot, that is to your reach. You can reach it there. But the taste is not in your reach. You do not know the taste. You do not know something in a spiritual realm. That's why food, I say, it has a spiritual dimension into it. You go into sex, there is a worldly element, gross element, and there is a subtle element, the intrinsic element of that. And that comes only when you know the proper process. That is the preparation time for the food. And the preparation time in sex is known as foreplay. So once you have known the preparation time, your items are marinated for a sufficient period of time, the foreplay. Then something subtle enters into it. The taste enters into it. Taste does not come with the piece of meat or paneer alone. How it is marinated, the preparation time, and what are the ingredients the preparation time, the preparation ingredients, and your understanding of the entire process. Then it takes a certain amount of duration. So this is what has to happen in everything. So the gross things are always within your reach. Life seems to be very short, and now the object of desiring seems to be infinite. Meditation, there is nothing, you don't know what you want to achieve through it. You just heard that you want to meditate. There is more impatience and more disturbance, and with a disturbed mind, how can you meditate? So this is the puzzle. Try to understand it. If you are really frustrated and you have come to feel that all that is outside is futile, money, sex, power, prestige, is just futile. If you have come to this realization, then a deeper realization is also needed. If these things are futile, then desiring is even more futile. You desire and nothing happens. This has to change. Enough for today. We will continue this in tomorrow's session. Until then, take care. Do have a pleasant day.